never knew all the details.
No.
But I understood it that they had land bought in that South Dakota. Uncle Billy had been to the United States sooner or earlier and had gone to Chicago, and a railroad land agent sold him some land in South Dakota. So then he went back to Germany, prepared to come back to the United States. And my dad was 15, he wanted to come along. He wanted to go. So, of course, his parents didn't want him to go, but he went. But I think, and Uncle Billy then built a house, a barn, built the whole place up. And the last time I talked to him, he said, "How you doing?" And I said, "Well, making the payments on the farm." "Oh," he said, "the first time is easy." Because I paid it 3 times. He said, "I had it all paid for, got a mortgage, had to start over." But he had a prosperous place. And he had a thrash machine, he had big tractors, he had everything.
Okay.
Then he got Alfred, they went up to Minnesota fishing. And they bought a place up there for Alfred. A little place. After that, Billy always wanted to go to Minnesota. That's all he talked about. And he told me that in 1930, he went to the bank borrowed $500, put the crop in 1937. The bank said, "Well, you got your cattle and you got your machinery, it isn't mortgage. We'll give you the 500 if you add that to the mortgage." And Uncle Billy said, "Well, if I did that, I lost everything. And I couldn't walk off with a stick." And so he wouldn't mortgage it, so he moved to Minnesota.
Do you have any other things you want to ask? Anything else? Or anything from the lady?
They used to go up to fishing.
I wondered, I couldn't remember how they got to Minnesota. I didn't know how Uncle Billy and Aunt Sophie got to
And
Minnesota.
H.A. Summer used to go with him.
Oh, yeah.
And one time we had a reunion, and then and Amy was there, and I told Amy, "Oh, hell, I mean, cousin, what's her name?
Melba?
Billy's girl."
Oh,
Melba. Melba.
Yeah. I said, "She's here." "Oh my gosh," she said, "I used to go up there with Grandpa, or Dad,
Yeah.
fishing." And she played with her.
Uncle Leonard, did you feel that it was helpful that Lena's dad came and lived
Yeah, that
with
helped,
you
yeah.
guys?
He never went out to the bar.
Yeah.
All the time he was there, never went to the bar.
But he
He'd go out
was
to the garden and pull some weed, but he stayed in the house. He did more babysitting with Darla.
with Mom.
When Mom wanted to go out and take care of the chickens in the garden, he'd be a house there.
Yeah.
He never went out and do any
He never
farming
did
or
any-
horses or nothing.
You never milked any cows with us. Or
So I have a question that from being from a farm. Okay, you had 2 daughters. What is Lena's dad's name? What's Lena's dad's name? Herman?
No,
No,
John.
no. Dad.
John.
John Woolman had 2 daughters, right?
Yeah.
Ida and Lena.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he gave the farm to,
Well, he was out in the Morristown.
yeah, and he gave that to Ida,
Yeah. All
then
the
how
machines.
did that make it even for Lena? I'm
Well,
just curious.
He was out there living and working with them. That was no part of their, they didn't have anything. They didn't get anything.
So,
And it wasn't worth much
okay,
because there was, it was all horse machinery. They had some horses, they
Yeah.
had horse machinery. But Grandpa Woltman never drove a car. He never owned a car.
okay.
Oh.
But he probably tried to be as fair to both daughters
Well,
as he
they
could.
didn't have nothing to be fair about.
Yeah,
He-
nothing to be
he
fair
just
about.
turned it
Okay,
over to them because he lived with them.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
They wasn't worried about no family fight because there wasn't nothing to fight over.
Right,
Yeah.
and his wife, she died how?
That's that.
How did the wife die? Lena's mother?
Bertha.
She had died before they went out there. She had gone out with them in the fall to look at this land.
Okay,
And they decided to buy it, or they bought it. And they went back to spend the winter and go out in the spring. During the winter, she had a kidney problems. She died with a kidney problem. And they said she always told Grandpa, "Go out there." And Ida was 21 years old,
mm-hmm.
so Ida and her dad went out. But I mean, they never. I don't know what they had or anything.
And Lena was younger, the younger sister?
No, Lena's
Lena
older.
was older,
Yeah.
okay.
Mother
I
was
didn't know that
born
for sure.
Yeah,
1897.
3
Yeah.
years
Ida was
older?
born
3 years older than Ida.
1900.
Okay.
But after, like the 30s, he bought that quarter of land out there, but he lost it in the 30s.
Yeah.
And so he lived with him until he just. Ida, when she left the farm, there was furniture and stuff that she said, "I'll leave it for you," and I said, "I'll buy it from you." No, she said, "We didn't buy it from Grandpa."
So it was, yeah, so it was just,
Whatever she didn't want, she just left.
Yeah,
so they just did not have much money and much at all then.
out of the 30s, I
Not
don't
in
think
the
anybody.
30s.
No, nobody did.
Grandpa
one
Walt, when he was out there, he drove horses, helped him farm earlier,
Mhm.
years early. Afterward, I don't know how, when he retired.
So when he came to live with Lena, his health was not that good? What age was he then?
Oh, I don't
What?
even-
What age was Grandpa when he came to live with you guys?
Oh. Grandpa was born in 1862, 1864. He was born in 1864. Great-grandpa was named Boltman, homesteaded in Illinois south of Effingham in 1962 when the first Homestead Act was approved. And he built a cabin, and that's where Grandpa was born. Then they lived in that whole area until there was Ida, well, they got married, and Grandpa and Grandma moved into another little house. Wasn't too far away. When we went down there one time, and the house was still there, and Ida and Grandma was born.
By Effingham?
Huh?
By Effingham?
Yeah, we went to visit
Oh, did you?
Rachel
Oh, did you?
and, yeah.
Well, yeah, we did one trip. Uncle
took
Chris and Mom and I and Aunt Ida. We went a trip, and we went to Effingham, and we visited all the
They were cousins
the
there.
cousins and stuff that we visited there. Yeah.
Leonard, how many years was Grandma alone before her dad came to live with her?
Well,
He came shortly after.
Shortly after
Yeah.
the drowning?
And he got old pension for old people they had,
Okay,
$15 a month.
which helped some.
He
Not
kept
much.
the $5 and gave gave my mother $10 for room and board.
Okay.
But he had $5. He chewed tobacco. He was the only guy around who chewed beech nut tobacco.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that, Mom?
I don't remember that. I can remember walking down to the mailbox with him,
Oh,
and I can remember in the yard being
Yeah,
with Grandpa,
yeah.
around in the yard. Yeah. And I can remember the day he died when they came and took him out.
he died in 1942.
How old were you, Mom?
I was
She's
born
born in
38,
38.
so I was 4 years old.
Okay, pretty little.
I can remember when they came in and I said, "Don't cover up his face, don't cover up his face."
Howard, my mother and Howard were gone. Well, I suppose you went with him someplace, and the undertaker came to get his body, Grandpa's body, and he was by himself. So I had to help carry him out.
Oh.
Oh.
Was he
He
stiff
died
already?
at home.
He died.
He had cancer,
Yeah.
but mother took care of him.
Oh, yeah.
He had been in the hospital for a few surgeries, and then he was.
But she took care of him.
So
But
Delene
they
said
didn't.
you all did whatever was whatever you needed to do. You took turns
Yeah.
milking, you took turns in the garden. Was there ever any arguing? No?
We argued. I and Lloyd used to argue a lot,
I can't believe that.
but we never got in a fight. It used to make me mad. Go to town and say, "Well, which one's the tougher?"
Did you feel there was competitiveness between the two of you? Or not so much because you had different personalities?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never
Had-
competitive.
Never had that much competition.
No.
Did Uncle Howard kind of take charge and tell you boys what to
Oh,
do?
yeah,
Did he? Yeah.
With the farming,
Yeah, with the farming. Yeah.
yeah.
That was a huge responsibility for him.
Well, that's why he got all
You had to
six.
be the
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he didn't get to go to high school, did he?
No.
He had to
No,
stay
he was
home.
supposed to have started that fall, he and Doris were going. And then Doris, the only reason Doris got to go to high school then was because the superintendent came out and visited his mom, and if he could find some place that she could stay in Andover to go to the school 5 days a week.
Well, I joined the farm. I joined the army to get off the farm.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you
But I
worried
think-
about Mom? Were you worried about your mother and leaving behind? No?
When I signed up, mother got money. They paid, like one of my dependents.
Oh.
She got.
I think one kid had to go, didn't they? I mean, at that time, if there were 3 boys on the farm,
But Lloyd didn't want to go to the army.
He didn't.
Howard told me afterwards, he said he didn't want to the army, you know.
Yeah. So they would have both went.
Yeah, Dad told me too.
But then
It
after
kinda
I got out of
bothered
the
him, he
army,
couldn't
Lloyd,
go to service.
they had a program where you go to the army for 2 years, serve your time, and then you didn't have to worry about draft. So Lloyd said he decided to go to the army and get his 2 years in, then decide what he was going to do, because he didn't work for farmers like I had.
Yeah. And that was hard work. That was hard work, and you weren't
And
getting
when he
much.
got,
That's just
he got in the army,
Yeah.
they put him in engineers, and oh, he hated that. He said, as soon as I get out of here, I'm gonna go. And then they took, for some reason, he had 15 guys out of the engineers and sent them to Fort Houston, Texas for the medical corps. And he was there. When he got down there and he said, I got in the medical corps, this is what I want to do.
That's what he liked. Yeah.
Stayed in the army.
I was wondering, I couldn't remember what Lloyd did after high school, because he didn't go in the service right away, did he?
No,
No,
no, he was several years.
yeah, he just worked for farmers around there then.
He worked for farmers.
So Howard did most of the farming and stuff. Did he get
Yeah.
any land or anything from where, when your mom moved into town, or did she just sell it and she
Yeah.
take the money?
Well, when
They
they,
had an agreement, I've seen,
when we
got
got
the
rid of the
agreement.
farm, Howard got the machinery and the livestock.
Oh, okay,
They
okay.
didn't have a sale or sell it.
I see.
When he moved down to Corona,
He took that with him?
he had the
Yeah.
machinery that he had, it wasn't that good.
Yeah,
He had a farm all tractor,
Yeah.
a few things, like horses, a couple of team of horses.
yeah. What was a team of horses? Was it 4 or 6?
2.
Oh, 2. Oh. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She doesn't know. She's way too young.
I'm way too young. Oh. So you had 4 horses then, if you had 2 teams?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
most of the time we had 6 horses.
Oh,
We had
okay.
3 teams.
Oh,
We started haying, we'd mow with 2 mowers. Then the third one would rake the team.
Yeah.
Lloyd did the raking. I did the mowing. Howard mowed. And when my dad was there, he used to help give turn. He'd take the mower for a while and give us a rest.
Right, give you a rest. It was hard
But
work.
we all took our turn.
Can you talk about when you guys went to school, and did you both live in Andover? Can you talk a little bit about that when you went to high
Yeah,
school?
the first year that I went to high school, I and Lloyd, Doris was in school. Doris was, there's 3 of us for 2 years. And then when Doris graduated, Deline started.
Okay.
We had this light housekeeping apartment or whatever.
Yep.
And stayed there.
Did you stay there all winter?
No, just
No? Just in the week time, in the
Yeah.
middle of the week, and then you go home on weekends and
Yeah.
work?
Well, home on weekend. Howard come in and get us.
Yeah.
Then on the Saturdays we always had clean out the barn or something.
Yeah.
Mom, do you have some questions for them? Something you want to ask while they're both together?
It's just that, they never talked about Dad. He never talked about what kind of a person he was or what kind of a dad he was.
Oh,
You know that?
I said, you guys never talked
No.
about what kind of a dad he was or
Oh.
what kind of a father he was. I mean,
we were
because I didn't know, and nobody ever talked about it.
Maybe you could talk about that a little bit, like
You know,
some
but I
memories you
remember
have
Mom
of Dad.
crying years, even when I was in high school, she would still cry.
And you know, that was
Things that
something
she-
I've never had ever seen her cry.
Yeah, she,
And I'm sure she
you know,
would.
but it was not that I would, it just would happen because we lived in a 3-room apartment,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
you know, but, you know,
I'm
like,
sure things would come to her mind.
well, it would be something, you know, that would come up,
Yeah.
you know, and I can understand that now because all of a sudden something comes up.
Yeah.
Can you tell Mom, can you tell Darlis about anything, memories of your dad's personality or things about him that you remember?
No,
Well, Doris, when Doris was there and stayed with me those couple days before she went, I said that was the most time I'd ever spent with her.
Yeah.
You know, really.
Right.
And she did, you know, and then she talked about how you guys had to go out and herd cows along the railroad tracks.
Yeah, we did.
And you
all
would
that.
hope that Dad says, don't you come home until the cows start laying down, because then they're full.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you get your instructions
And she
for
said,
what you
yeah,
needed to do.
It's just like he just said, he just told you what to do and expected you to do it.
And we did it.
Was
That was it.
was Herman always very as faithful as Lena and going to church and very adamant about church?
Really,
oh yeah,
Yes,
never
and
missed her.
devotion. Did you have devotions, or did he? Do you remember him reading from the Bible at home, or was
No.
it too busy?
No.
Really.
Not really. Okay.
Grandpa Wolfman read the Bible every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Did you guys get spankings? Did you get a spanking?
No, oh yeah.
Oh yeah! Who gave you the spankings?
Well, mother gave it, it wasn't very hard. She'd grab you and put you a couple times.
That's what my kid said. If Mom gave me a spanking, I wasn't worried about it. If it was Dad, I'd be worried about it.
Right. Yeah, I can remember my dad spanking me because he was looking for a wrench, and for some unknown reason, I had laid the wrench someplace. It was my fault. And boy, he grabbed me and spanked me.
Oh.
Well, there's one memory. There's
Yeah.
you know something.
Like my dad, he never went to town. He used to be in the pool all, you never
No.
seen him.
No.
He'd go to town, and other guys would go down to the pool hall and play cards,
Yeah.
drink beer.
He never did.
Never.
Would you consider him a very gentle man, soft spoken, or
Yeah,
not,
pretty
or
much,
more
but
outgoing?
He had
or-
a temper too.
Yeah.
You know.
And Uncle Billy was the one that always liked to play the tricks on everybody. He was always trying to do that. But
You said as you were kids, when you lived along the railroad track, that you'd go out when they were working on the track, the guys would give you gum? The
Yeah,
railroaders,
talk real loud.
I said, when you were kids, you were talked about when you were kids and lived along the railroad track.
Yeah.
When the railroad guys would be working, you'd go down there, they'd give you a stick of gum? Or not?
A
They
stick
give you
of
some gum?
Some gum to chew?
The railroad
Oh
guys.
yeah, we used to herd cattle on the railroad, and there was a local train that didn't go very fast. Probably had 5 cars on it, and they all the freight from eggs and cream. But anyway, there's one engineer. We'd be out there, and he'd throw gum out to us.
Oh!
And if there was one of us herding cattle, he'd throw 1 stick. If there was 2 of them, he'd throw 2. But he wasn't every day because I don't think the same engineer was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
was gum a treat?
oh, sure.
Gum was a big treat?
Oh yeah, a stick of gum.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, then what other deal? This is kind of, we found that there was a signal post on our runway, our railroad, and there was a gallon of tar on it laying there. We got a stick and put it on the rails. Go see what happened. Well, before the train came, this little suction speeder car cabin got stuck in it. And we was sitting right there.
Oh
And
no.
the guy got out and pushed it through, and he said, well, this won't hurt nothing, but don't put any spikes or rocks on it. Away he went.
Uh-huh.
We thought it got locked pretty good. But anyway, about 50 years later, about the last time I was in Andover for a reunion, a bunch of guys out talking and did this and did that, and I don't remember who it was, said, I heard you guys put tar in the railroad and stopped a train. I said, no, we didn't stop a train, but we stopped a suction. I don't know how they found out. Lloyd must have told them. I was so he said, you stopped a train. No, I
That's
said,
funny.
they stopped the suction car.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
funny.
Leonard, one thing is that my mom told me that you were, when you were in the army, you wrote letters not only to Lena, your mother, but you wrote them to Mom.
No,
That was very nice of you.
Yeah. And he sent me a watch from Switzerland.
Do you remember doing that? Do you remember that? That was very, very nice.
And I remember when we went, Christmas Eve, we went to the telephone company in Groton so we could talk to you on the phone.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You called from
I
Switzerland
called
or
them
something.
to Italy, yeah.
Yeah,
They had some kind of a system
yeah,
that you could call home. And you had
Yeah.
to sign up ahead of time and get
Yeah.
everything
yeah.
hooked up.
And we had to be at the telephone company by a certain time so we could be there.
Oh,
And then we had a couple phones so we could all kind of listen.
Oh, neat.
Listen more than one phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
On the farm, we had a phone most of the time. On them,
Crank ones.
Crank
yeah.
one.
there was about 8 parties on the line. And we had a radio in the wintertime. Sometime in the summertime, we had to have about 3 batteries. And the batteries would run out toward the spring. And then we didn't get new batteries till fall. And we had it during wintertime. And then later on, we got a radio that had 1 battery.
So would you say, growing up, your family, the Herman Wink family, was real poor, middle class, not a lot of money?
No, well, we
Not
kind
a lot of money.
We was kind of middle class.
Middle
we
class.
wasn't really poor.
Okay,
There was people that
that were way worse.
we,
Yeah.
we always had plenty to eat.
That's what I was gonna say. Mom always said, well, you had the garden, you had milk, you had
Yeah.
chickens, you had, so you always had food, you know.
Was Lena a real good cook, Leonard?
Yes.
Was Lena a real good cook?
Oh yeah.
Your mother?
Oh yeah. My mother was a good cook.
What are some things she made that you liked? What are
Well-
some of your favorite things? Or Deline, what are for some favorite things she made?
I liked the chocolate cake.
made with,
But she
Cream,
used to
cream.
make what I call coffee cake. It was in a round pan. It was like cinnamon rolls only was in there.
Yeah.
yeah, she
Yeah.
did that.
But mother was a good cook. She make everything pretty good.
How about you, Deline? Do you remember anything that she made that you liked? A
We always
dish?
had potatoes. Every meal it was potatoes
Yeah.
with something else, gravy.
Did she make soups? Did you make soups
Oh,
back
yeah.
then? Yeah, a
Big
lot of
soup.
soups.
This is that there's a cutter. That was my grandpa's, and it was out there in Morristown in the junkyard, the metal. And I seen it there for years, and I asked Chris what that was. He said, "Oh, that was your grandpa's sleigh." And then when we moved down here, there was a guy neighbor that did restoration of buggies, and we rebuilt it.
Okay.
It was
Oh,
Max
you
that
got
got
it
it.
out?
Oh,
from
Max
there.
has it.
Yeah,
But that was, there's a picture of it in one
in
of
the
the,
sleigh, yeah, there's a
neat.
picture of them in the sleigh.
Oh, neat.
Let's see.
you know, made a buggy, but
And this is one thing he remembered.
I guess you got that.
I bought this in Switzerland. at the
This
town of
tray.
Lille.
Say it. It looks like something
I
in
don't move the
Switzerland.
shelf. This
Yeah.
shelf stays the same. That tin tray
Yeah,
back there was.
That tin back there,
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
has to be old. We
Ah.
always had it out at Christmas time for
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I remember
Oh.
that, yeah,
Yeah, I do too.
yeah,
Oh.
I just leave it up.
yeah,
We always,
yeah, I
That's
remember
neat.
that.
Where did you get this at?
oh, that was,
That's
Uh,
it was just
beautiful.
always there.
Then,
Might have been
there was
a
a round one, I
wedding
don't know who
present
got
or
that.
something, you never know.
Yeah, I
There
don't
was
know
two
who
of
the round one got, yeah.
But that, if you look at Christmas cards and stuff, that's about early 1900s.
Mm,
We had that.
that's beautiful.
All carved. You remember what part of Switzerland you got
Yeah,
this?
Zug. It's a
Zug.
German area,
Okay.
and they had a lot of wood carvers there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Didn't cost much, you know, it's just a
It would now.
souvenir. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I sent home a pair of doves, bookends, and the beak got broke off of one of them,
Oh.
Both of them, I think.
both of them.
Yeah.
But they're on alabaster.
Yeah, I remember those. I don't know what happened to those either.
So can I ask you, when Mom was born, did Lena have her at home,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
and a person came over to help her?
yeah.
Yeah, I think
A
Mrs.
doctor from
The postman
Hanover.
stopped.
No, a doctor from
The
Bristol.
postman stopped.
Yeah.
The doctor come on, I didn't know a doctor was
Yeah.
there.
Doctor did come out?
Doctor came out.
So what do you remember about that?
Yeah,
What do
I
you remember
remember.
about when?
Got up in the morning and had a baby sister.
That's right.
Yep. So you never were around, you didn't hear any of it, or?
No, no,
Never?
And I was with her.
And I was with Mom?
She came and stayed 2 weeks, I think, at that time. I can remember after you were born, she was gonna give us kids a treat in Ireland.
Yeah.
And she made
remember it.
potato pancakes
born
and none of us
February.
liked them.
Oh!
Potato pancakes and what?
Nobody liked them.
None of us kids liked them.
Rotten kids.
Rotten kids. You should have got a spanking for that.
What else were you saying, Leonard? What were you starting to
I was
say?
gonna say, you're born in January.
January, yeah.
And it was real mild weather. I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't a
for
blizzard.
January, yeah. Yeah.
She was born on Mrs. Paul Ross's
Birthday.
Mrs. Paul Ross's birthday. I
Oh.
can remember when she came over.
Leonard, can you talk about how Ernest March helped you?
Later on, we didn't work together until after Dad died.
Yeah.
And then we worked together and helped us. He was kind of a good-natured guy. Never had any argument with him. But he was a horseman. He still had horses, but we had a tractor.
Okay.
So once in a while they'd use our tractor. And we used like grinding feed or sawing wood. We had a buzz saw. We sawed railroad ties. He'd come over and help us, and we'd go over there. And we used to help them with harvest and hay. And I know one time he put his hay up in a little bundle of we mowed it and raked it and put it in little stacks. And then in the fall, we went out and pitched them on a hay rack and took them in and put them in the barn. And pitching that, everything was done by hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
He always
they
made-
didn't have any children?
They
They
had
know
one
that.
son.
Yeah,
Oh, they
yeah.
did have one son.
But he always made the joke when we were there about the rocks on his land.
Yeah.
They were there for a purpose because they held the moisture down. He said, you move a rock, it's wet.
The barn on our farm
Said that.
had a sling and a carrier. I don't know if it was still working there, but
Oh,
we used that a lot. We put all our hay in the barn. We didn't have any outside in the wintertime.
that was
We'd
good.
haul it in and we'd stack it in the summertime out in the field because we didn't have
Yep.
time to haul it.
Right.
Then in the fall we'd haul and put it all in the barn.
And you used the sling to get
Yeah.
it back?
They put sling in
No,
the
no.
barn, then they hook them up and they'd pull it up like that and go in there.
We did that.
Then you tripped it, then
Yeah.
you got in there and
Got in there
Pull it
so
back
far,
up.
you bullet, and then it would dump the hay. Yeah, we did
Kind of
that
like
by
a bucket
Wilmot.
loader then,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
And we always put the
and I
bales on the side.
drove the team that pulled the, when I was there, pulled the hay up into the hay barn. And when we was putting sacks in the field, we had a hay stacker, and I got to drive the team on the hay stacker. You had to be pretty careful. If you drove too far to throw the hay over, if you didn't go far enough, it would fall down in front.
Yeah.
So you had to kind of on the ball. The horses, they knew that. They knew just how far to go. Sometimes they'd stop a little too. The
So,
horse said before I got big enough, she had to do that. She said, oh, she said, I hated that. She hated that job. Howard run the bucker. He always bucked it up. Lloyd was a re-raker, and I had to help stack.
I don't know why I was out in the hayfield.
Then
I
the
don't
stacker-
remember being out there.
The neighbor borrowed it, and he left it set up against the haystack, and the lightning struck the haystack and burned the stacker.
Oh, no.
so how did you get the corn then? Did you have a corn picker or did you pick by
Well, we
hand?
had a corn